What'd you find? Raspberries. Nom 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 nom. Last time everybody saw you, you were a tiny baby in a stroller. You're 18 months old now and you walk and run and make gardening really difficult because you run off. Yeah, I love the raspberries though. You gonna feed the ducks? You mean those stinkers over there that are supposed to be in this area? There's the call ducks in the front and then there's the big ducks in the back. They've done a fantastic job. You take the food right to them. A smart little baby. I put them next to my garden. And they have done a really good job of killing all the slugs and snails this year. It's been amazing. I don't let them in my garden because when they do go inside the garden, they step on things, just pulverize plants. They don't eat the plants, they pulverize the plants. And they do eat the bugs in there, but they just make a mess of the poor plants. Alright, I better save the duckies from the little child. What are you doing?
Making a fort.
You brought all these boxes down to the garden to make a fort?
Yes, I did.
Awesome.
What?
Awesome. So hello, welcome back to our homestead. I'm Leilani, I'm the poultry gardener, and this is my garden area. I thought today I would do like an introduction of what you'll see here and things you can expect to hear about, and just give you a tour of the farm. All right, here we go. Well, this is my main job. My number one job. I am mom. These cute little boys. So in my garden area, I've created a space for them to, you know, create and do whatever the heck they want. And yeah, right now I've got shipping boxes in the sandbox with the little kitchen. Yeah. I also wanted to make sure that you understand that because momming is my number one job here on the farm, it is messy. There's weeds, lots of weeds in my garden. You know, it's not an easy job to farm, garden, homestead, any of that with children, especially young ones that like to run off and just do whatever the heck they want. That one tends to understand better. You know, stick around. Don't do things that'll kill you. Please. This guy. Yeah, we get nice and messy here. Constantly in the water. Lots of fun though. Lots of learning. So to continue in the garden. Here, over there is what kind of came here at our house. This whole area used to be I guess a gravel pit, and they used to get rock out of here and sand. So that's kind of what the ground is, and I had to figure out how to get ground that I can actually grow in, because that was just, you couldn't grow anything in it. Things just didn't grow. I don't know how to explain it any better. So I kind of went with the idea of back to Eden and improvised on that, on what would work better for us, because I wanted to start growing right away. And a back to Eden garden, you can't really start growing right away. So I did, oh gosh, at least a foot, probably more in some areas, of wood chips, and then made beds with compost and planted in that. And this is year 2 of planting, and I do have problems, and I'll do an intense video on that. It's not the most perfect dirt yet, but I'm growing food, and that's fantastic. So yeah, dahlias to make me happy and whatever. Strawberries. And then these strawberries, this will be super fantastic and cute, but the deer keep coming early in the morning, taking all my leaves off. They were huge, fantastic, beautiful strawberry plants until the deer started getting after them. They're also coming after, you can see damage. Well, can you see damage? That's bit off. They come and eat the leaves off the beans, but only the leaves. I'm growing all sorts of stuff. True to my mom gardening comment, the outside tomatoes, well, all of my tomatoes, I have a greenhouse full of tomatoes too. They're kind of a disaster, but they're growing tomatoes, and we've harvested quite a few off of them, and that's cool with me for now. Next year, maybe they'll be pretty. Not this year. They're making fruit. It's good. Lettuce bed. Well, the lettuce that went bolted and I didn't pick up, which is fine. It can compost there. I'm cool with that. Sweet peas. And I'll harvest those seeds to make more. Well, they're not sweet pea vegetables. They are sweet pea flowers. Gourds. These are kind of cool. And I got some nasturtiums going on down there too. These are kind of cool ones over here. Where's one of them? Freaking huge. That is a big decorative gourd. I didn't think they were that big, but it's pretty cool. Okay, now I'm going to have to pause because tiny child's taking off. Be right back. Alright, well, I'm struggling to contain the small child, but here we go. We'll just keep going. Some herb garden with kids' toys. Chive, sage, parsley, oregano, thyme. I tried to grow some cilantro, but it kind of got beat out by everything else, specifically the sage, which I'm going to cut way back. Thai basil. Yeah. There's all my kale. Cucumbers. We had kind of a cool spring, early summer. So the cucumbers weren't super happy, but they're making it. I've harvested plenty, so I'm cool with that. Onions. Peppers. There's a bunch of peppers that are ready right now. I should get to picking. Cabbages, some tomatillos, all sorts of stuff in here. Squash, edible pumpkins, little Jacoby little pumpkins, all sorts of stuff. Ground cherries are planted way too late. Big onions, calendula. Just reseeded this with a bunch of brassicas. They're teeny weeny. There's one that's not a weed. See what that is when it comes up. I have a bunch of celery, green onions, chives. My rhubarb is unhappy. I've got my artichokes, my asparagus, which is still really young and full of weeds. It's just a bed I haven't gotten to yet to clean out. Carrots, beets, cabbage, broccoli. They're kind of spun out for the summer. We're not sure how this strawberry plant got here, but it's there. So I'll probably dig it up and put it where I want it. Of course, the fantastic companion plant. Marigolds, they're awesome. Brussels sprouts that really didn't do well. And cauliflower. I'm not really sure why. Yeah. Still struggling to figure out how to grow corn. A couple different varieties. Oh, some sunflowers, which are fun. These are volunteer potatoes. I didn't actually put any potatoes in this year, but these ones must have like come up from little tiny ones that were left from last year. Alright, that's the main garden, so I'll take you out to the other parts of the garden in just a sec. You don't want to tell me what happened?
Mm-mm.
He just got stung on the finger. So we had to take a break and go get him all fixed up. Poor buddy. I'm wondering, I don't know if you can kind of tell, it's super hazy. There's wildfires in eastern Washington right now. And yesterday, which was Labor Day 2020, there was highly like super strong winds, and the wildfires just went crazy. And now today we have all the smoke over here. Definitely feeling bad for the farmers over there. There was many of them that were able to hurry up and get out of the house alive, and that's about it. A lot of their livestock has perished, and super sad. Anyways, we're feeling a little bit of the effects over here with the smoke, and I'm wondering if the bees got a little bit agitated. I don't know. We haven't had a bee sting all summer until now. But I think he'll be okay. So anyways, that's my main garden. My main veggies.
How did Fennec get in there?
I don't know. He climbed in. He's a little monkey. He climbs on everything. And then this, I have 4 big beds.
Ow! 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 You was touching my owie.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. I was just trying to hold your hand. I forgot. I grow pumpkins in them. That's my giant pumpkin bed, which this year I made a post on Facebook. I don't think I told YouTube, but this year I kind of had to let the pumpkins go because managing the children and the giant pumpkins was a little bit of a hard deal. Well, we can look at it. It's still a large pumpkin. It's just not exactly giant, and it won't be giant. You want to get in there? Want to see how big it is? Yeah, that's a big pumpkin. And eventually it should turn orange this year. Last year I grew one that was white. And actually I have one over here from basically the same seed as I grew from last year. So that one's white. It's not very big, but it's growing. And it's just a mess. This is a disaster, and I just had to let it go. Yeah, you can go see. Don't step on the vines. It's not as big as the other one. That's pretty big. Kind of cool. There's some decorative corn growing down there. Also not very successful.
Put that in your other hand. I want to hold your hand.
I'm growing some other pumpkins, and I've amended this dirt out here a bit because it's just junk to grow in, and the plants should be way, way, way bigger than they are, and they're not because the dirt's junk. But you know, I kind of, with gardening, I just kind of, hey, why not try it? So we're trying it, and they're growing. There's pumpkins out here. This is called a blaze. That's cool. You looking? Owie. Yeah. I'm gonna have some fancy pumpkins over here. There's some growing. I think, actually this dirt seems to be better for some of them. These plants seem a little happier. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh goodness. That's frustrating. Something came in and ate that. I think this was supposed to be a warty goblin pumpkin. Oh man, I bet you that was a deer. Ooh, that's frustrating. So every winter, I think it's in February if I remember right. They do what's called the Country Living Expo, or the Cattlemen's Winter School, and I like to go. There's a ton of workshops you can go to. I did 6 workshops in one day this year, and it's only $75. This is amazing, and it's super fun. The main takeaway I got this year was food forest. So again, I kind of went with the Back to Eden method, and I filled this whole bed with wood chips. Not as deep as I would like, but it's there, and obviously the weed pressure is way less. I have done some weeding, but the weed pressure is way less compared to these beds. That I weeded this part, and that is what it looks like when it's not weeded. So yeah, this compared to that, pretty fantastic. So I got some fruit trees as my medium story. It's a whole thing I'll have to tell you about later, but fruit trees, I got 5 of them. I got a cherry, a frost peach, a Japanese plum, a European pear, and an Asian pear. And then working on some lower story stuff. So I just did some super easy, summer squash. This is a yellow crookneck, I think.
Mom.
Or straight neck, I guess, probably.
Mom.
Yes, buddy.
When we was over by the pumpkin right there, and then when we was over there, there's like the same one of the bee I got stung by.
Yeah, and just don't touch them. I know, it's hard when they land on your head. That's what happened. It landed on his head and he went to try to touch it because he thought it was a fly and it was a bee. And anyways, so yeah, I've got some squash going on. This is a cherry. This is a thornless blackberry. Why in the world would I... There's our fence line. Those are the wild blackberries. Definitely not thornless. Yes, I am intentionally growing blackberries. This is a gourd
Free blackberries.
that I'm growing.
We're growing free ones.
Well, these aren't blackberries. These are going to be, they're young this year, so they didn't produce. White raspberries. I think, yeah, more deer damage. Those stinkers. The tops are cut right off. Alright, we're going to have to do something about that. I have a bunch of blueberries. And I want a lot more. I have a lot of space I can still plant in, so I'm excited about that for next spring. This year I kind of hit my limit on what I wanted to spend budget-wise. Yeah, blueberries. There's some lemonade blueberries down there. But I'm really excited. This food forest so far is going pretty darn well. Got elderberries, which I had my first harvest off of them. It was like maybe a quarter cup worth. Not a lot. Yeah, pretty excited about the food forest. This will eventually be much more grown and taller. I'm excited.
One of the little baby ones that got big just turned in like a daddy.
Yeah?
So we have like four.
So this is a turkey tractor I made out of a it's an old trampoline frame. I turned it upside down. The plan is to move it like every couple days, and I'm really bad at that. It's just the truth. But anyways, I really love turkeys, so I have turkeys that I grow, and the black and white one, I'm not sure what happened there. I got the white ones in. These are heritage turkeys. The white ones are White Holland, and these are Narragansett. So these are, well, the white ones I'm going to keep some breeders from for next year, which will be exciting. And then the Narragansett, I had breeding trio with them, and I just decided that I didn't like where that line was going, so I sold them. And I'm moving on to the White Hollands as my main turkey breed that I will be keeping. But yeah, every year for our friends and family, I grow a bunch of turkeys and we butcher them and have some fantastic meals. Also this year I did a round of broad-breasted whites. They're already gone, they're already in the freezer. And I've made a ton of like turkey lunch meat from the giant breasts from the broad-breasted turkeys. These ones, I'm hoping these white Hollands will be much bigger heritage breed, but the broad-breasted are definitely, you know, different when it comes to turkeys. I can get in depth on turkeys later. But these guys, we love turkeys. They're so full of personality. They're a little hot today. It's hot for us here in Western Washington, probably like 85. I think it's a little bit less hot because of the smoke. But well, maybe it's just because the sun isn't coming through as strong. But anyways, that's hot for us. We're not used to that here in Western Washington. And I think later this week we're supposed to have some 90 degrees. So yeah, poultry doesn't really like heat. None of them do. Like turkeys, ducks, chickens, they dislike heat. They do way worse in heat than cold. Cold, they will be just fine into super negative temperatures, which we don't get here. We barely ever get down below 20 degrees here, Fahrenheit.
Can we go up to the house now?
How about we go check out the chickens?
Okay, now the chickens.
This is my big turkey tractor, and it's like an old carport that was here, and we enclosed it with wire. There's holes in it right now, and I don't trust it. We have some major coyote pressure, and last year they stole 7 turkeys from me, so I'm not using it right now. Yeah, here's the back of our property. We're still kind of in transition as to what we're using this back end for. My husband built this fantastic tree house. It's a little bit big for the age of the kids, but it's pretty cool. We're gonna build steps up to it and everything, so that was a fun thing he did this spring. A COVID-19 project. He was off work, so he made that. And we burnt some stuff here, but there was a big pile of dirt from the pond, which is also in transition. And there's the chicken coop. Go over there, since the little one already made it there before us. This is a small chicken tractor we have. These are the red Dorkings. I have some cockerels in here. Them growing out for meat. And they're doing pretty well. There's just 4 in there. Yeah, they're just about done. Just a little more fattening up. And then this is the main coop, which I did a big video on. Yes, more turkeys. Some of these are Narragansett and some of them are broad-breasted bronze. And this poor gal, she got beat up and she lost an eye in the other coop. So I switched her to this coop and she seems to be thriving much better.
See, actually there's 3 turkeys in that one. See?
There's a lot more than 3, buddy.
3 boys?
Oh, 3 boys. Oh, yeah. Yep, at least 3 boys.
And that little one's mine.
It is? This is my free-range coop. And, oh my goodness. The tiny child has made his way in there. What are you doing?
That's water's mouth.
Yeah. I don't even know these days. Anyways. These are all my youngins. A bunch more meat birds in there, and then I have a whole new line of black copper Morans that I'm... Oh, it's hard to see, isn't it? Let's see if I can get it to focus. New black copper Morans come along too for next spring. They like to tell me how it is. Let's see the greenhouse. show them the greenhouse? Here's the greenhouse. It is a wild, crazy jungle. There, I ran out of time to do any pruning, and things have died, and things are still living. I just actually took a bunch of tomatoes off yesterday, but I still have quite a few tomatoes coming and starting.
Where's my yellow tomatoes?
I took them all off yesterday. They're in the house. We can eat them in there. Okay? I promise.
Hey, can we do?
They're all the way up the ceiling.
When we're inside, can I show them I like to eat those?
Yeah, definitely. Alright, let's go find that little child. This is a favorite hangout for my free range chickens. This is one of their favorite best bath areas and shade.
Mom, come over here.
Sometimes we find eggs under there.
Look here.
Oh yeah, this is another giant pumpkin plant. Atlantic giant. I'm letting 3 pumpkins grow on it, although I have some littles I need to prune off of it. Not real big yet. I planted this one like super late. But the plant is super happy. It's quite large. Yeah, there's bees in there, by the way. But they're okay. Those are the honeybees. I think you got stung by a hornet. This is a big plant. And then this is a volunteer that came up. It's just a jack-o'-lantern plant. But it's quite huge and happy, and there are multiple very large jack-o'-lanterns coming along. I think this was the first one, and it's already turning pretty orange. It's huge. It's quite huge. But that's exciting. I love pumpkins. Yeah. Well, we were trying to throw some zucchini and apples in to entice the pigs out to hang out and see them, but they are hot and they don't want to come out. There's a third one over to the far side there. It's a red one. Yeah. They're like, no, we're just chilling. Sorry. So we have this fantastic giant feeder. We put big, huge super sacks of feed in there, and it lasts a couple months. We had 7 this year. 3 grew fairly quickly, and they've already been sent to freezer camp. No, 4. 4 went already to freezer camp, and we have 3 left. Yeah. So this is the front part of their pen. And they have that whole back area back there. We kind of have a gate where we can close it off when they're small weaners still, so they aren't in the giant area and escaping and whatnot. Yeah, super fantastic investment not having to feed them every day. So much easier, and also doing automatic water. Oh my gosh, life-saving. Oh, we just come out here and say hi to them every day, and that's about it, because we don't have to do a big chore. It's so easy. It saves so much time. Oh, somebody decided to have a little apple snack. Yep. So I'd go show you the cows, but we literally 2 days ago sent them to butcher. So I'm sorry I don't get to show them to you this year. March, April next year we'll have more cows and more weaner pigs to show you. And we don't breed any cows or pigs. We don't feel like it's worth our time and energy, especially over here in Western Washington. Feed costs are like super high. So for us, jeez, it wasn't very nice. You hit him.
Sorry.
The feed cost is too high to feed pigs year round to breed, and we don't have a barn currently, so we don't really have anywhere for them to borrow, or I guess cows just don't really need it as much, but the pigs do. I'm just a little busy raising these ones instead. Yep. So yeah, sorry, no cows today, but we had cows. They've gone to butcher, and I'll show you when we go to pick up the meat. I'll show you all that. Is it time for us to go get lunch, buddy?
Yeah, but I used this to cut that one.
The zucchini?
Yeah,
We have a fantastic neighbor across the lake here who has a bunch of windfall apples that she didn't want, so we packed them up in feed bags, and there are a ton of apples for these fatties, and they'll get nice and sweet and tender, and we'll put them in the freezer. Here he comes. It's taking him a minute. Brother and I walked a little faster. So this is one of my favorite parts of our property, which isn't actually our property. This is all our neighbor's property. I love looking out here. This is a true Washington cedar forest with the ferns. Just beautiful. I love being able to come back here and look and enjoy this. What'd you find? They are sword ferns. It's nice and cool back here today compared to out in the heat too. Walter, we put game cameras out here last year, right? And what did we see?
Deer.
And?
Apple.
Yeah, there were some apples, and there was a black bear that came and rolled in the apples right about there. You never see them during the day. They come way late at night. Just shy, quiet little bears.
Let's go check on the apples, okay?
Okay. And there's, yeah, lots of deer. Bobcats, coyotes, raccoons, possum. Yep, we caught all of those back here on our game camera last year. And our cats. My wild, well, they're not wild. They're pets, but they are our mousers, and they came back here also, like right after the coyotes one night, and I was like, oh my gosh, my cat is trying to hunt down a coyote. Cool, right on. Blackberries. This child is always eating, and he knows where the berries are at on our property. Today was garbage day. Walter decided a while back that he wanted to every week take the empty garbage can back. I don't think he can, our driveway's kind of steep, so I don't think he can like haul it up the driveway. But he wanted to take it down, so I was like, okay, cool. That's your first chore, big kid. Sorry, my phone died earlier and didn't get to finish the video until now. Anyways, this is our new flower bed that we made, a COVID-19 project. This was all grass, and it's quite a steep hill, and my husband had to mow it. And it was full of weeds. It just wasn't attractive. So, well, there's still some weeds down below, but we decided to cover it with landscape fabric and bark. And this is where our apple trees are. And they're quite happy this year, the apple trees. And I couldn't figure out, I don't know why I didn't put two and two together, but I couldn't figure out why we had no apples or worms in our apples this year. They're really fantastic apples this year. No worms at all. No bugs. Well, duh. The bugs, when the leaves fall, go in the ground and hibernate, and then come back every year. Oh, we covered it, so the bugs didn't get to come back. That's kind of cool. I just gotta maintain them better. It takes time. I just gotta remember to do it. Anyways, that's kind of a cool project we did. Well, the smoke's gotten worse and it's gotten pretty hot today, so we're going to just kind of stay inside and hang out. But I'll make more videos for you guys soon. Thanks for coming and watching. Bye.